Boys Club.
Is it called Boys Club because my apartment looks like a boy lives in it?
I wouldn't say a boy lives in it. I would say a boy is kidnapped somewhere in here.
Boys Club.
We're everything. We're true crime. We're World Star Hip Hop.
We're World Star Hip Hop. We're Netflix reviews.
Stories of the day.
Boys Club.
Listen.
Yeah, do it. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. I think. No, we're not. And on Google Play. Nobody gives a shit.
Boys Club.
Boys Club podcast. Now with 90% more sound clips of black people.
Boys Club.
Touch me and I'll sue.
Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find him. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and this is a podcast where I usually have my friends on, and we talk about life while drinking. How is everybody doing? Are we all depressed or what? Oh, it's good old wintertime, and my motivation is a piece of shit lately. But here we are yet again with another episode of the podcast. I really want to, spice things up with this intro. I don't really know what to do, but I'm getting bored of just, myself. Is that a weird thing to say? I don't know. I sat down to record this tonight, and I'm just, sick of how I always talk in my intros. I'm going to try not to use upward inflections so much. Might be hard, though. This is just how I talk, but I'm getting sick of it, man. I'm getting sick of it. But yeah, did you guys like the new ad we have on the show? Those are my friends over at the Boys Club Comedy Podcast. Make sure you do subscribe to their show because it's friggin' great. So this week on the podcast, I have a very special lady. She is a friend of mine, and she is also a listener of the podcast. My friend Sally is on the show. Sally is an absolute sweetheart. She's actually an ex-girlfriend of a good friend of mine, but someone I've always loved. So when she reached out to me to let me know that she's listening to the show, and she loves what I'm doing, and she'd love to come on sometime, I was like, hell fucking yes. So in this episode, we talk a lot about female friendship and dynamics. We also talk about how she met her current husband, which I'm always all about. I love hearing origin stories of relationships because I'm always just like, how did you do this? It seems impossible. Tell me your ways. So that was really fun. But then we also talked about the work that Sally does with younger girls. She is a very important individual because she is actually educating young girls and guys too all about sex and stuff. It's so funny because when we sat down to record, I was telling her about how I want to get a sex educator on and I want to know what's going on in schools these days and what exactly are we teaching young kids about stuff like consent and confidence and sexuality and all that. And then Sally was like, that's me. That's what I do. So I was like, oh, fuck yes. So got into a really good conversation with Sally all about the importance of empowering young girls, teaching them not to compete with one another, and the importance of self-care and confidence, which is huge, especially at that young age. It's a hell of a time. It's not a time in my life that I ever want to relive. So it was really cool to hear what she is doing, and it was a really good conversation. So big thank you to the awesome Sally for coming on and shedding light on all this. It was fantastic. So I do want to take a moment and tell you all about Patreon. Of course, every week I do this. So we do have a Patreon page. It is patreon.com/intoxicated. If you wish to sign up, you can make a monthly donation that will go directly to the show. And there's various levels on there that you can choose from and you get rewards for those different levels. So I do want to take a moment to actually thank all the Patreons. So I want to start with our first Patreon ever, Tyler from the States. Still going strong on Patreon. I can't believe you're still with us. I don't know too much about Tyler, but what I do know is that your first Patreon will always have a special place in your heart. So I thank you for your continued support and feel free to message us and tell us about yourself because I want to know more. Also coming in at the $10 level is Shannon, my bitch, and Heather, my person. Both good friends of mine, champions of the show and supporters, awesome guests as well. They've both done the show, and they both know a lot of my deep dark secrets, so they're very important Patreons. 2 more $10 Patreons, Mr. Bobby Beer, who I also don't know a lot about, but all I do know is that we got drunk at Heather's wedding together, so there's that. Weddings can bond people. What can I say? So thank you so much, Bobby, for your support in the show, coming in at a high roller level of $10. I also have Catherine coming in at $10, another great friend and very recent guest of Intoxicated, also my surgery spirit guide. Thank you so much, Catherine. You rock. And who could forget Vern? We all know Vern. He's done multiple episodes of the show, and he will be back. And I think you'll be hearing more from him in the near future. Not going to say too much about that, but keep listening for more details. Thanks so much, Vern. You're obviously amazing. And some very exciting news. We have a new Patreon. I'm so excited about this. I want to give a big thank you to Kaylin. You are a new Patreon, so you get a bell ring. Thank you so much for signing up for Patreon. Another friend of mine, actually, who will always reach out and let me know that she's listening and let me know what she thinks of the episodes. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Sometimes when you podcast, you truly do feel like you're talking into a wall and you don't really know how people are taking it. But Kaylin is always someone who's giving me feedback, and I love that. And I hope to get you on the show soon, girl. I know you're growing a human and running a business, but I seriously think you would be an amazing guest. So hopefully Kaylin will be on at some point. So big thank you to all our Patreons. You guys are awesome. I seriously think it's one of those things where whenever I'm feeling down about the show, or if I'm feeling kind of in a rut, which I'll be honest, I've been feeling that way lately. It's just fucking seasonal depression. It's kind of killing my motivation. I'm getting kind of like this weird like creative block going on. So I do apologize if I seem off my game lately. I'm trying my best. But when I am in those moments, you know, I'm almost 2 years into this, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't have moments where I go, what's all this for? But oddly enough, whenever I have those moments, it's always when I open my email and I either get a message about the show or I get a new Patreon notification. And it always pulls me out of it and makes me want to keep going and keep entertaining you guys. So thank you guys so much for everything. So if you are a listener of the show, certainly check out Patreon. It's a cool place to be. And maybe once we hit 10, maybe I'll start doing some Patreon live stream hangouts. Who knows what could happen, but we're getting there. We're a small but mighty community. So also don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts. Leave an iTunes rating or review if you'd like. You can also follow Intoxicated on social media. That is Intoxicated Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter at @in_toxicated. You can also shoot me an email at intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com with any questions, feedback, comments, really anything. Let me know that you're listening. And most importantly, tell your friends about the podcast. If you're going to do any of those things that I just named, I would say the most important are being subscribed and telling your friends, because we want to grow this bitch. I'm going to cut to the chase here and get to this very awesome episode with the very lovely Sally. So we are rolling on the Intoxicated Podcast, everybody. I am so very excited tonight to have a listener of the show and a friend.
And fangirl.
Sally.
Hello.
Welcome, Sally. You don't want to go by
Thank
a
you.
fake name, right?
No fake name. No, I'm good.
Good stuff. Because when people do it, I'm like, you know, I'll do it, but I'll probably fuck it up at some point.
Yeah, no alias.
Good stuff. That's awesome. Welcome to the show.
I'm so excited. This
Thank
is
you
fun.
so much for coming on. This is when you reached out, I was like, thank God someone wants to record. It's such a busy time.
It is a busy time.
It's a busy time of year. People are so friggin' busy. And so you actually live outside of Halifax.
Yes, I'm
but
in the valley.
you're in town visiting.
Yes.
So you decided to come on, and this is perfect. So let's start with what we're drinking.
Okay.
Requested by you.
Yes.
Chainyard cider.
Yuppers.
And we are drinking, you're going to be drinking.
I've got Hopped Up.
Hopped Up. And I'm drinking the Intrepid. I don't really know the difference between the two. You said that they're both dry.
Yes,
ciders,
they're both dry. I think this one's a little bit more beer-esque.
I
It's
think
got the hops going.
That might
That
be what it
makes me happy. Yeah.
I actually love Chainyard cider.
So good.
I was never big into beer, and I'm still not really big into beer.
Yeah.
But when I discovered the Intrepid cider from Chainyard is when I really fell in love with it, because it's really like light and crisp and refreshing and not too aesthetic-y, I guess is the right word. I could never have a fucking beer podcast. I don't know how to describe beers.
That's okay. And I like that it's not like, I don't like things that are sweet. So if I have cider, I don't want it to taste like apple juice. I want it to be dry. I like dry wine. I like dry beer, I guess, or cider. Like, it has to be tart. It has to be like clean.
I actually totally get that. I used to drink a lot of sweet wines, and it like destroyed my insides. I don't know how I did it.
No, that's cooking wine.
So let's do a cheers. Even though you're not going to hear the cheers.
That's
but
all right.
It's
Ting,
tradition.
ting.
I feel like if I don't do it, it's bad luck.
It's good.
Even for sober episodes, I'm like, let's cheers.
Let's cheers our waters.
It is going to be bad luck otherwise. So you know the show. So we usually start with a friendship origin story.
Yes.
The show is about friendship. So we met, actually, this is awkward. We met through Jessie.
Yes.
Because you were dating Jessie.
I was. This
and
is true.
You were the sweetest light of love that I've ever
thank you.
Like, I just like how long did you guys date? I was trying to think back to this. And
like 6 months, I would say.
was it only 6 months?
I think so.
Man, I felt like longer than that.
Maybe a little longer. I'm not sure. It wasn't a year, that's for certain.
But yeah, so we met through Jessie.
We did.
We just stayed in touch.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't think that breakup was like a bad breakup by any means.
No,
It didn't seem like it was.
No,
from my
you
point
always
of view.
have that like awkwardness of when people part ways.
It is really awkward.
And then it's that hum and haw of like, well, we were friends, but you were his friend first. How do we navigate this life? But But we, if you gravitate towards somebody, it doesn't really matter how you found friendship. It just matters that you maintain it.
100%. I mean, there are some situations, I think, where like you might meet someone your friend is dating and they really hurt that person, and you're like, I can't, like, if I'm friends with you, it's really gonna hurt this other person, so like, we just cannot be friends.
Well, that's just
that was just like not the case.
You don't want to
with us
watch
at
your
all.
friend get drugged through the dirt and have something malicious happen. But
well,
no,
like,
I think
was thinking about it the other day too. Like when me and my ex broke up, like I had to message my friends to be like, can you please delete him?
Yeah.
Because I know you like him as a person, but he hurt me so much that I just can't deal with you being friends with him.
That's just it.
And then they did it, and it's like, there's some situations like that, and then there's other situations where it's like, no, like, literally, I made a friend here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
There's
like,
a bond that goes beyond why it was established.
Exactly.
And we girls, we gotta stick together. We gotta be
you
friends.
are good friends with my friend Carrie.
Yes,
so,
love Carrie.
So
I've known Carrie since grade 3.
That is so cute. How did you guys? Do you guys remember how you met?
Oh, I remember.
Okay, tell it. I'm not even asking Carrie.
She's
for
gonna love this. No, we tell our story all the time. Actually, I think a couple of years ago. Well, I shouldn't say a couple of years ago. It was like high school. I think she did a speech on like how we became friends, had a fight, fell out of friendship, and then became friends again. So,
oh my gosh.
I was moving to this new school, and Carrie was the first person that I met at the school, but she didn't want to meet me. She was very reluctant. She was sitting in the seat ahead of me, and her mom actually was like, oh, look, Carrie, a new friend, a new girl in your class. And she turned around. She's like, what's your name? I was like, Sally. Oh. And then, but Carrie was just like, big blue eyes, freckles, and I don't remember what haircut we had, but it had to be some kind of, adorable mushroom cut of some kind that we all had. And she looked at me with like dagger eyes, turned around, and that was it.
Stop!
Yeah.
I can actually totally see that.
Oh, yeah.
I can totally see that.
And then we actually became friends because I had a sucker in my lunchbox. I had 2 suckers, actually. And somebody else wanted one, another friend. And Carrie asked for it too. And I was like, oh, no, it's for this person. And Carrie was mad. And then, I don't know, it didn't work out. And she was mad at this other friend. And then I found another sucker. And I was like, here you go. And there was something about, I think, a project in the library. I don't know.
Oh,
doesn't matter now because the rest is history. Carrie and I have been friends forever. We've seen everything together. We were on a swim team together. We did the Girl Guides. We did all the stuff.
Gosh.
So Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she stuck with me.
That's a long friendship.
It is. Yep.
There's something about that is so, like, I hate using it. Like, it sounds fucking cheesy, but, like, magical. Because, like, it doesn't, it's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare for you to stay, like, my closest friend is Danielle, who I've known since grade 2.
Yes.
Like, grade 2.
And I think we have like all of our technology and our social media and our texting to thank for that, as much as we want to shit all over technology most of the time.
Yeah.
We're maintaining friendships that we wouldn't otherwise have. Like, our parents don't have that because they don't have, they can't keep the connection between,
They gotta write a letter.
where everybody went.
Yeah,
So
that's very true.
every so often my dad has said, like, oh, I found so-and-so on LinkedIn, because that's the jobby thing. That's like the parent Facebook right now. So I think because we went to university in different places, but we maintained contact through our, MSN and then Facebook. I think Facebook was really one of the ones that kind of stuck everybody together. And then
it did do it. It really
yeah.
did
So
do
now we're, even though we have like, you go to a reunion, you're in everybody's business anyway.
Hell yeah.
Like, we just stalk them until you run into them on the road and they're like, oh, you had a baby, and they're like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years.
It's
Your
so
baby's
true.
cute though.
Oh my god, I know. It's wild when you run into someone like I just had last week a surgery, and one of the nurses in the rooms with me, I went to high school with.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fucking shit.
Makes
And
the
it's-
world
and it's
small.
And it's not that, like, I forgot about her in any way. It's just like, holy crap, like, you haven't been on my radar in so
No.
long. Like, how are you? Oh my god, you're a nurse. Like, that.
Yeah.
It just turned into this whole thing right before I had to, like, go into surgery with her. I'm like, you're about to see my cervix. Have fun with that.
Welcome to the show.
Well, people were like, did that make you uncomfortable? And I was like, no, it actually made me more comfortable.
I think I would feel better
like having
too.
someone I knew.
Seeing a familiar face.
Yeah, I actually
'Cause-
like, broke down crying.
Yeah, I would have been a wreck too. I wouldn't have made it. They'd have to put me out to put me out. It would be just a bad scene.
I made jokes. I was like, I really wanted to have been high for like going into surgery because I was so high strung, but like it was all good. It was
That's
fine.
good.
I worked it up in my mind big time. Like, God, the mind is a
It's a
mind is an
dangerous
awful
place.
thing. It's
Yes,
a
it
dangerous
is.
place.
It is. There's a lot of treachery. And I was watching your stories, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so nervous. Like,
Did you message me?
I did.
You did. I was like thinking back. A bunch of people messaged me.
I was like, are you okay? Are you all right? Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
it was
I
okay.
felt so dumb afterwards because I was just like, that really was nothing. I was just overly nervous.
Oh yeah, no,
and overly paranoid.
I'm the worst. I hate like medical things, and
Same.
my husband had a knee surgery right before we got married, and
oh shit.
I was a mess. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna die.
Right?
He was getting a friggin' knee surgery, but I was losing it. I was like, he didn't want to bring me. He actually told me I should probably stay home from the hospital because I was bawling. I was just crying, and I was like, I was so worried. He's like, I've had a knee surgery already. I've had other surgery. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
I think it's just like the idea of like, like
Anxiety.
under
I have
anesthesia
anxiety.
things can happen. The chances are very slim, but there's always the chance of something might
I think
go
I've
wrong.
totally ruined myself with my. I hate medicine and being poked and prodded,
Same.
but
Same.
I watch every friggin' doctor show.
Do you
that's
watch
on
Grey's
TV.
Anatomy?
Oh
Because one of the things I said when I went into the operating room was
Frig.
funny because it was a whole female team,
Yeah.
which was also great. Even the anesthesiologist was female.
yeah. Hey, girl power.
Which I was like, I don't know why I was expecting a guy, but
Yeah.
my brain was somehow assuming it would be a guy.
Yeah.
And then I felt shitty for thinking that. But I was like, fucking A, girls. And I walk in and I'm like, this looks like, because I've never been in an operating room
Yep.
before. It's my first time ever.
Uh-huh.
I walked in and I'm like, this looks like a Grey's Anatomy episode. And one of them goes, that's where we learned everything. And I just cracked up. I was like, sweet. They're
Wonderful.
They're funny. I can do this.
Yeah,
I can
that's
do
good.
this. But you like to watch the medical shows, but it creeps you out.
I do, but
Yeah.
it freaks me out because you have like the most, because they run out of things to do. So they're like, let's take the most common run of the mill thing and make it deadly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
ow, I hurt my knee. sorry, we have to take off your leg.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, they definitely emphasize everything. And then the shooter's gonna shoot out the hospital during the surgery.
This is not what we need.
It's so true.
Frig.
Oh man. But yeah, so we stayed friends through that, and we always saw each other kind of in group situations and stuff. And you were so kind, reaching out, letting me know that you listen, and that's I just appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
So hard when people reach out.
It's nice when you see friends doing things. It's great to it's fun to be supportive, and you've got cool guests on, and it's fun to listen to everybody's stories and people that I have met through you. It's fun to listen to their stories and how they're doing in their life. And it's very exciting.
That's an interesting way to say it. Like,
it is.
Because if you're in the extended friend group, you're like, oh, I know of these people, but I might not know about them, like the concepts of their lives and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's been interesting, and
it's fascinating.
And the topics that you cover, and there's parts of it where like somebody's like, oh yeah, I could really relate, and I'm like driving to school and I'm like, yes, I agree. Yes. I'm conversing with you even though I'm
that's
not
the goal
there.
of every podcast. That's the goal of every podcaster. Every podcaster wants people to be feeling like they're hanging out with friends, even though like we're not physically together, but you're kind of hanging out with friends. That was kind of why I started it, because I was like, the deep conversations and the most like fun, impactful convos that I've had have usually been while drinking. Mm-hmm. And like the way I see it is like, if you go to a back corner at a bar with your friends, what you guys talking about? Like those are my episodes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the heart to hearts that you have with friends.
Exactly.
They've all been drunk in my mind. I don't think I've had a sober heart to heart that has been like as open.
Yeah.
It's just that's what alcohol does. But
there you go.
Yeah.
way.
But speaking of friendship, I told you before we hit record that I admire your squad.
My squad, yes.
Hashtag squad goals.
My Fab Five.
The Fab Five.
Yes.
So you have a group of girls.
I do.
That you've known for a while. So
yeah. Take
me through this. So was this did you all meet in a certain grade? I mean, obviously you met Carrie in grade 3.
Yeah. Carrie was grade 3. And then Sharon and Laura and Sam for me were all high school.
Okay.
Like probably I'd say grade 9. Sharon was in my homeroom in grade 10. I don't know if I remember if she was running with us in grade 9 or not, but after grade 10 we were pretty solid. And like Sharon and I were roommates our first year of university. And the rest of us, like we stuck together, we hung out, we had the girl times, and we had junk food nights, and it was just like we just made time, and it was always like game nights. It was like Cranium and the goofy stuff that we do as kids, movie night and whatever.
Hell yeah.
Running back and forth to their houses, and parents carpooling us everywhere, and we just kind of stuck together. And now that we've all for the most part are married or have partners that we've had for a long time.
Yeah.
And Sam just had her first baby.
Oh my gosh,
so exciting.
Amazing.
Yes.
Did everything go well?
Everything went well.
Oh, good.
Lovely little baby girl.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so now it's like we talk about who's gonna be next, who's gonna have the next baby, and it's fun because then it's like, okay, now we're together this month. Okay, so everybody get out your phone, check the calendar. When's the next time we can get together next month? So we plan.
That's amazing.
We plan the date while we're together so that it becomes a priority, and we know whether we can fit it into our schedule or not.
That is
so we
fantastic.
try. Yeah, we try every month. It's not always feasible, but we try.
I can totally, as soon as you said that,
yeah,
I just thought about Carrie, because Carrie is hyper organized.
She is.
Like
she is
when
very
I went
organized.
to Mexico with Carrie, everything was itinerary.
I was gonna say, was there an itinerary?
There
with
was
like
an Excel spreadsheet,
notes?
100%. Yeah, like she's on top of her
She is.
shit. I fucking wish I was like her.
And
she's so organized.
We've been this year was a big year for everyone because we all celebrated our 30th birthdays, and we decided one way or the other, we decided that every 30th birthday was going to be done big. So my birthday was in January, and they came down and we had a party at my apartment, but they took me around. We went to, wineries and cider places and out for crepes for breakfast or whatever. And then I got a spa gift certificate, which was so lovely and fantastic. And then the next birthday was Sharon's. We dressed up as the Golden Girls and went downtown in Halifax like old women. And
That's amazing.
It's so fun. So we tried to sort of incorporate our personalities into the activities that we did.
My God, I'm so jealous of your school.
It was fun. Yeah, I missed Carrie's, unfortunately. Moving into a house and the chaos and money that comes with that was hard to get down there. So I missed that one. That was kind of the pits.
That sucks.
But we celebrated Sam's. So poor Sam, we drug her all around. She was so pregnant, and we were trying to fill time. I thought I had picked a movie to go see, and we drug our butts to Bears Lake, and the movie showtime wasn't right, and I swore it was. I don't know what happened.
That's the worst.
So so we were just because we had a surprise party plan for her later in the evening.
I think I remember this.
And we were yes, because we had breakfast that morning together.
Yes, we did.
And we were trying to plan it, and we were communicating with her husband, and we were like, can we come over now? He's like, no, not yet. We're like, well, she's tired and she doesn't want to walk, and we don't know where to go. But it was great. And then the next day was her baby shower, so we kind of did the two
That's
birds
fantastic.
in one weekend.
That's amazing.
And then Laura's, we just had we went to the Wine Fest in Moncton, and went to see not high school, a community theater presentation of Grease, which was quite fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I was so sick, though. I had a terrible cold. I had 2 feet in the grave, I think. But so the girls were all ready to do cocktail dresses and be fabulous, and I had on a poncho.
Oh, I hate it. Colds are the worst too, because it's
festive.
You're not sick enough to bail completely.
Yeah.
But you just feel miserable.
Yeah.
And you just don't feel like...
I love wine, and it wasn't doing it. But Carrie's a bubbly fan, and I was like, I think the bubbles will get me through. So I sipped on that for a bit, chased her around, and then that was the show. I pieced out early, but I was like, love you. See you later.
The fact that you showed up at all is commendable.
Yes, thank you.
It's very commendable. I love that idea of planning birthdays like that.
Yeah.
Especially 30. Yeah, because when I think back to... I had a big 30th one.
Yes, sparkle, sparkle, baby.
It's downhill from here, though. I'm not...
Yeah.
Actually, this next birthday, 32, I think I honestly... People don't believe me.
Uh-huh.
I think I might do a silent retreat or something. Or maybe
would
not
be
a silent
good.
retreat, but I think I might take maybe 2 or 3 friends and go rent a cabin in the woods or something.
Oh, that's
I want to get away this time.
good for
You know, do
Instead
something
of the
a bit
big
different.
hullabaloo, just
Every
go
fucking birthday
chill.
is
Chill.
Fickle Frog, just drinking
Yes.
in a fancy dress, and I'm like, I want to do something different this time. I want to just go off grid.
Oh yeah, get your fuzzy socks on.
Fuzzy
Find
socks.
a plaid shirt, drink a beer, smile
Yeah.
at yourself. Life is good.
And it's in
Doesn't
March,
have to
so
be
it's normally
glamorous.
still
Yes, exactly. Have a little
So-
snow and a fire, and life will be great.
Yeah, freaking yes.
Yes.
But I love your squad, and what I think makes a squad, because I was thinking about this today too, because you guys are a unit. I consider you a unit. Do you consider your guy
I think
your
so.
group a unit?
Yeah, it's everything that we do, we try to include everybody, and we have we've got the group chat and the group Snapchat. So I think very rarely do we message anyone individually.
That's crazy.
It's just here's my life, blah. The other day I had to send Sharon money, and I didn't have an email for her. So I just I wrote something very vague Sharon's email to send money. And then Laura was like, oh, are we doing a grocery list? Get garbage bags. And I was like, no, I just need Sharon's email. That's all. But we can make grocery lists. And then a little while later, she's like, I have realized it is now garbage day, and I did not get garbage bags. so it's just like that. It's send an ugly face, and then Sam shares her baby being adorable, and then we're like, hey, we had pizza and put on socks today. We win.
Amazing.
So
important question.
Yes.
Is your group chat named anything.
Yes. If I can remember. It's like babies and babes or something. Here,
Babies and babes.
let me confirm. Ta-da-da. Besties and babes.
Oh, I
Sorry.
love
Hashtag
that.
besties and babes.
I love that. And that's great. I love that you can name a group chat.
Yeah.
And that you can pick an emoji for your group chat.
Yes.
Do you guys have an emoji?
No emoji.
Oh my god.
But
you should pick one.
We should
and
have
change
an
it
emoji
right now.
It should.
If you were to pick an emoji for your group chat, what do you think it would be? I asked the serious questions on this podcast.
That's a cutting question. It's very difficult. Either, well, I don't know. I really am particular to the two girls that are like dancing with the unitard.
One. Yes. The
That
twinsy
or
one?
like the one with the heart eyes, or maybe just the piece of cheese. Laura hates the word cheese, so I think I would go with cheese.
That sums up
And
female
that's
friendship. I
love.
think.
Yeah, just we are the cheese. Actually, I signed I don't remember why, but Sharon started to call me Cheese Nip.
Cheese nip?
Yeah, so like kind of like
the aren't the cheese like
I think
are they called cheese nips?
They might be. I don't know. But anyway, so sometimes I sign my
nips.
messages like Cheese Nip, and I don't really know why, but hey, there's two connections to cheese.
I think that works, and cheese is amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes they say the cheese stands alone, but not in this case.
I also eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like way too much.
All you need is cheese.
All you need is
Cheese is all you need. Cheese is all you need.
What do you think makes a good squad? Like okay, I guess what I'm asking here is like everyone has a different personality or like maybe a different role that they play in the group.
Yep.
You know? And like in my mind, I feel like Carrie might be the organizer. I don't know if I'm right on that.
Yeah, I think so. Carrie's a good organizer. Yep.
What would you say the other people are? In terms of what they bring to the group.
I think I'm like the mom.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm like the one that has like the tissues and a lip gloss and a Band-Aid and a highlighter and maybe a few stray hairpins and
perfect.
A tampon. I got all the stuff.
It's all in your purse?
Little hand sanitizer. Yeah, it's all in my purse. So
Fantastic.
it's like I need and I'm like, here it is. So that's probably my job.
I love that.
And I'm the one who's like, everybody make sure you text me so that you got home safe. I'm that person.
I love those types of friends.
And Sharon is like, she's like the court jester. She's like the hilarious person. Like
she's
it's
like a clown.
always funny and everything turns into an adventure. It's like Sharon's like, oh, like we're all of a sudden we go from a regular girls' night to like a quest. So that's
amazing.
That's fun.
I love that.
Laura is our peppy fashionista. She makes sure that we're all fabulous.
Oh, that's
And Sam is like, she plays every role. She's like, she's got you covered if you need things. I've borrowed many a purse from her. She's hilarious. She's always like a great host.
Yeah.
She has the best Christmas parties. She's every woman. She's like the blanket. She's like the person that holds everybody together, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
so
a good way to describe everybody.
Yeah,
and I put
so
you on the spot.
I have a good
Look at
crew.
that.
Yeah, I guess I know them pretty good. So yeah, we all have a little something to add, I think, and
is
Carrie's definitely the organizer and the person that lets us know who owes who what money wise.
She's so on top of her shit.
The other day she messaged because we all pitched in for Laura's past birthday, and it was like, okay, let's get everything squared away for gift buying. And Carrie says to me, you owe Sharon like $20.70. You owe me $3.45, but don't worry about it. I was like, okay, thank you.
You owe me 85 cents.
Yeah, but let's not split hairs.
I love Carrie. I need to
She's
get
the
Carrie.
best.
Carrie was on my episode 69.
She was, yes.
But I need to get her on for a solo episode. Now that she broke the ice with Intoxicated, she needs to come back on.
She broke the ice in a big way. So,
oh my god, did she? I was shocked. Like, let me tell you,
head first.
Because when I came out with it, there were certain people I asked around to.
Yeah.
And there were certain friends that were literally like, No, never, not happening. And you know, it's weird because like some of my closest friends actually like haven't even been on yet.
Yep.
In a weird way, because and I respect it like I oddly respect it because I'm like, you know, that's totally fine. And also, it's like you already know my life, so like,
Yeah.
this podcast is like you're just gonna hear the same thing again. But with Carrie, like she was reluctant.
Yep.
And then she opened up to it, and when she opened up to it, I assumed she would go by a fake name. She's like, "No, I don't care," and I was like, "Amazing," because I love Carrie so much. She has many stories.
I messaged her and I was like, "Are you listening to Sarah's podcast? Are you listening to it? Are you listening to Intoxicated? I love it. It's my favorite." And she's like, "I've listened to parts of episodes." I was like, I wanna do it. We should go on together. We should plan a time.
Should totally come on together
and do it together." And she's like, "Oh yeah, cool." And then she was like, "I'm doing this episode, the 69 episode. Do you want to go on that?" I was like, that's not for Sally one.
Pass on that one.
Nope.
I know, it's funny because when I officially told my parents about it, I was like, maybe stay away from episode 69. I was like, maybe skip that one. Maybe make sure you're reading the episode descriptions and the titles before you just randomly listen.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose wisely.
Yes.
But yeah, it's actually cool because I have couples on a lot. But I think going forward, it might be interesting to have sets of friends on, you know, like best friends or like really close friends. I think that would be actually really cool dynamic because like I would love to just like sit down with two best friends and be like, okay, how did this come about, and like what were your big fights and how'd you get over them? Because like that's what I find fascinating about female friendship, because it can be dramatic,
tumultuous,
very. Have you ever had any big fights with like the girls in the group?
No,
that's good.
I have not.
That's really good.
Yeah, no, we get like a tiff about something here or there, like you shouldn't date that guy, he's not good for you, whatever, you know. Like that kind of thing. Or like when we were younger, like there would be occasions where maybe like, oh, they went to do something, you're like, I can't believe you didn't invite me. They're like, well, you wouldn't be allowed because
that stuff,
you know, that kind of thing. But never a big blow up. No.
Oh, I've had some blow up fights.
Yeah.
It's intense with female friends, I think.
It is.
It
is intense.
It's a weird level of friendship. Like when you've been close with a female for a long time.
Yes.
There's
a lot of dynamic between females.
Oh my god. Especially if you've lived with them. Like you said, you were roommates in college with one of your friends. That would seal the deal. Because not only are you living together, I'm assuming you're living in a dorm room.
We were living in a dorm room.
So one room.
Yep.
Two egos.
Yes, but it was okay. Like
you survived.
We never fought.
That's fantastic.
Yep. And there's not like I don't remember a whole lot from that year, just because like it still felt like high school, but it was like now we're in charge of getting up and going to class ourselves.
Yeah.
But I remember I had this comforter and it was very slippery. It was like a sateen or something, and I had silk pajama pants on, and I sat down on the comforter and I fell off the bed, like slipped like a banana peel.
I was gonna say
onto the ground, like just like full blown. And Sharon put on silk pants and slid like off her bed in sympathy. Like this is the kind of fun that we had. We put on splash pants and slid down our hallway. Like we were just like,
that's amazing.
Oh yeah, or we'd have naps. We'd have a nap on Sunday and set our alarm because they had Sunday in the cafeteria, and Sharon wouldn't let us miss it. She'd be like, we can nap, but then it's Sunday. So really it was just going to class and then bringing each other for ice cream.
You napped together. Like you had a shared nap? Like you went to sleep at the same time, woke up at the same time for the nap?
Yeah, it would be like, okay, let's nap. And then we'll put on the TV and watch like MTV, like one of those bad dating shows, or like you get on a bus and be surprised that you're there. Or there was one, it was like a room takeover, but it was dating, and the guys like rifled through the girl's room and then they dated them. It was weird.
That is
it was very strange and very personal.
No one would want to date me.
I forget what it was called, but yeah, all these weird shows. But then it was like, okay, now it's time for Sunday, but it would be like, okay, it's 12, we'll nap and we'll set the alarm, and then when the alarm goes off, we'll get up and we will go for Sunday, and then we will do our schoolwork.
That is. Those were the days.
Yeah. We had a first year psych class together, and we were trying to figure out, we were studying. We were both so bad at psych. I think we both just
I was terrible at it too. Yeah.
got by the hair of our teeth that we passed. Skin of our teeth, I should say. Hair of our teeth. Good Lord.
Kind of works too.
Fuzzy teeth. But we tried to come up with, like, the night before, we tried to come up with an acronyms to, like, remember specific things.
Oh, I love those.
And there was one we came up with. It was cookie. And we were ready. We were cookie. The cookie is blah, 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 blah. And then I finished the exam and we were walking out and Sharon goes, "What the hell was cookie?" And I said the same thing. I was like, I don't know. We couldn't remember.
No, you forgot.
We're like, what the hell was cookie? God help us. I don't know. We tried. It was cute. It was cute. You got to keep it cute, but doesn't mean it's going to be successful.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
College.
Woohoo.
What a time.
We made it. We made it through.
And so things have changed since then, obviously.
They have.
So you are now married.
I am.
And you have a lovely husband.
I do. He's super.
And your wedding pictures are like a storybook fairy tale.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't know much about your backstory with this guy. So
yes.
How'd you meet? And tell me everything.
Okay. Well, because I am a listener on your podcast, and we love to talk Tinder.
Was it Tinder?
It was Tinder.
That should get a day.
And I was never anyone who wanted to online date at all.
Interesting.
So I was like, I thought, I'm a social person. I'm out and about, and I'm happy-go-lucky, and
you are,
surely
yeah.
I'll just snap someone up.
That's what I've been thinking this whole time too.
But it wasn't happening, or I wasn't finding what I wanted.
Right.
My dad made the joke to me one day about these. Yeah, I was dating guys around the town, and it was not working. Guys that were at school with me and that kind of thing. And my dad said, "Sally, you are fishing for salmon, and all you're getting is carp."
It's like a right way to say it.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, where's my salmon?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I eventually was like, okay, well, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to try some online dating form. And I think it was right around when, I don't think Tinder was out too long, and everybody and their dog that was single was joining Tinder. So I was like, well, I'll try that, because I liked the fact that I could see the radius of which the humans were in.
Yeah, that's the location.
Yeah. So I was interested that way. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll make this profile and I will be specific as to what I am looking for, and hopefully I can sift through and find whoever. So you get like a couple of matches, and I talked to a couple people, but when I matched with my husband, I spoke to him, and he is in the same field of profession as I am. And so that was something that I was kind of looking for. I kind of wanted to be in the same career area as a potential spouse, just because you work so hard at your job that it's nice to have someone that kind of goes through it with you and sort of understands those things.
Oh, 100%.
So I spoke to this fine gentleman. And initially it was like, oh, you're really close to me. Like I was in Kentville and he was in Windsor. And so it's, maybe like a half an hour-ish drive. So I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. So we talked a little bit more, and then he was saying like, oh, like he's an avid hiker. And he was like, I'm going to go hike Cape Split, which is, one of the big hiking spots here in Nova Scotia. Everybody goes to Cape Split. And I was kind of like, oh, this is a very interesting date proposal,
Was
but
it first date?
this was the first date. It was like, let's go hike Cape Split. And I was like, I watched Dateline.
I was just gonna say, at a very early episode of the show, my friend Kurt and Celine, who are no longer together, but they're still friends, but did an episode like way back when, and they talked about how Kurt, I think he wanted their first date to be a hike, and it was the same thing. She was like, "What are you doing? No, that's crazy." Did you decline it?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, I watched Dateline, and this is not safe. I was like, I would like to meet you, but I would like to meet you in a setting that is like coffee.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we left. We took the conversation away from Tinder, and went to the texting. That's like step 2, texting.
That is step 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think our conversation started on like a Tuesday, and then the coffee date was set for Thursday. So it was like, what are you doing Thursday? Oh, nothing. Okay, let's meet for coffee. So we met for coffee in Wolfville, where it turns out we've both gone to school at Acadia, and he said, okay, I'm going to meet you for coffee. Is it okay if I bring my dog? Oh, my dog. Like, I mean,
do you even need to ask?
Yeah. Number one, way to my heart, bring a dog.
Yeah.
So, so we got coffee, and then we went for a walk in Wolfville with the dog. And after the walk and a really good conversation, we parted ways. It was kind of like, oh, what are you doing on the weekend? I'm doing this or whatever. And it was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And I didn't know if we'd ever touch base again. I certainly wanted to. Were you
instantly attracted?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's a majestic beauty. I love him. So I went home, and I was saying to my mom, like, he's so handsome, and he's so nice, and we have all these interests, and I really hope I see him again. And all this time I hadn't checked my phone. And he was like, what are you doing for dinner?
Oh.
Yeah. So we met.
Next day? Or
that night. Same day. Same day.
Oh, he was risking.
Yeah. So it was like
big move,
a 2 o'clock coffee and then a 6 o'clock dinner. So, yeah. So, but he made another mistake. He said, I will make you dinner in my home. And I was like, no, not your home. Too personal.
Yeah.
So
too soon.
Yeah. So we met at a pub, and again, super conversation. Everything was great. And I left the date, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be the one now that says, all right, I've really enjoyed spending time with you. I would like to see you again. He's like, well, I got to get ready for work, and September's coming. And, he was very cool and casual. But by the time I got home, again, because we were already in Windsor for our date. And actually, the other funny part is I wasn't a big driver at the time. And I drove to Windsor. So I drove on the highway. This was a big deal. I was not a highway driver. I drove through town.
Yeah.
And Carrie makes the joke to this day, well, Sally, it took a man to get you on the highway. And it's true. It's true. It
would take a man to get me on the highway too, don't worry.
Freak big. Yeah. So I drove home, and I, again, was like, wow, he played it really cool. And I don't know if maybe that's it. That's all she wrote. But then, of course, I checked my phone, and there's all these texts, like complimentary texts. And so then that was it. So I'm the person that everyone hates because I did an online date. I went on one Tinder date with one online human, and I married him.
I mean, I don't think that you're the person people hate. I think you're the person people want to be.
I'm lucky. I'm very, very lucky.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
I have 1,000 questions about everything.
Absolutely.
So what drew you to him in terms of his Tinder profile? What made you go, well, I'll message him?
Yeah. Well, he is a beautiful, majestic ginger, which was like, for me, it was like, oh, wow. Look at this rare, beautiful.
He does have a very distinct look.
Beautiful ginger.
Yes.
And he talked about, being interested in music and being interested in the outdoors and his dog. And there was a picture of his dog, our now dog, Max, who's love.
Adorable.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
And he talked about what he does for a living, and I associated with that. So he was local, he was pretty, he
And had a good bio, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like, looking for fun, see you later. Like didn't feel like a temporary thing. It just felt like somebody who was also trying it on, to see what might come of it.
I like that.
Yeah, so I mean, sure, you swipe all kinds and you match, and he swiped too, and I'm sure he had conversations with people, but then it just somehow clicked with us, and yeah, so we're lucky. I mean, I know he had done other online dating things. He was like he did the eHarmony thing and stuff, because we still laugh. I don't think he gets them now, but he was still getting like eHarmony emails, and it was like, hello, I really like you. And it was like in his junk mail, and he's like, I was already engaged to him. I was like, let's get rid of young Fiona and her desires.
Might be about time.
Yeah.
Wild. eHarmony. Fuck.
So I know he tried other venues, but yeah, I was like, let's just see what this Tinder has to offer. And apparently it was like, here's a husband. Would you like
that?
And
I
was like,
wild.
Yes, please.
It's wild to think about, like, well, I mean, me hating Tinder right now. Like, honest to God, it works for some people.
It does.
And there's no formula.
No.
I think it's just, I honestly think it comes down to make sure you know what you want.
Yeah.
Read the profiles. Find someone with a good profile. Find someone like you're kind of stoked about. Like,
yeah.
It's obvious to me that you saw his profile and there was a number of things that you were intrigued by.
Yeah, I was
think
doing
that's
some
key.
serious filtering.
That's key.
Yeah, I was looking for things that I could associate with. It wasn't just like, oh, your picture's nice. It was like, what are you interested in? What did you write? How did you write it?
Yeah.
And are there
typos?
we've said, like, yeah, is there typos? Do I have to figure out which one you are?
Oh, I hate that.
Why do you have 7 girls around you and you're in like Cancun? No, thank you. Like those kinds of things that we look for. That
what was
are not
your profile
what
like
we want.
then?
Mine was a selfie, and
did you write a lot?
I don't think I wrote a whole lot. It was like, I don't know what I was interested in, and that I wasn't looking for
hookups.
Yeah, I was looking for like a serious relationship, and that I was serious, and that I was, a career woman and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I really should put that in mine.
Yeah.
I think that there's a fear associated with putting that in for some reason, but I think more women should put that fucking in.
I think we'll get more of what we're looking for if we're really specific as to what we want, and when we do the filtering thing, to really look at what might be a good potential and something worth talking about, as opposed to just like, oh, he's nearby and he's very handsome.
Exactly. Gotta be a little.
I was thinking about my pictures again. So I had a selfie, and I also had another picture. I wanted to say there was pictures of me and my friends, but there wasn't. It was me trying to paddle a blow-up raft. That was the other one.
I love it.
Yeah, so it was like, look at me, I can clean up real good, and also here's me with like 2 days unwashed hair somewhere in the middle of the water in Chester in a rowboat.
Show some variety, yo.
Yeah,
that's so important.
It's like, I can be glamorous and I can also be dirty in a rowboat.
You sure
it's
can
fine.
be glamorous.
Oh,
I just want to say, hair goals. Your hair is always on point.
I have the I call it the other person. So there's like Couch Sally, which is like scraggle muffin hairdo, and like, Sundays I don't often get dressed. I just keep my jammies on all day and do schoolwork. But when it's time to go out, I do like to clean up, and I do like my hair. I do
your hair
a lot with heavy hair.
It's beautifully curled. It's amazing. You're adorable.
Oh,
you're
thank you.
Absolutely adorable.
You're so complimentary. I love it.
I love Sally. So you're my favorite ex-girlfriend of Jesse.
I made it.
He's gonna kill me. You're both happily married now, so I can say that.
That's good. No, I think everybody's got a good life, and it's all good.
It's all worked out.
We're all adults. We can make funny jokes and laugh and smile and carry on. This is life.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
But back to the husband.
Yeah.
So okay, you went on some dates. It worked. So then what happened from there?
Well, it was dicey because I was concerned when we started dating because everything was going fantastic, and then I was working in one town nearby, and then my job ended there, and I went farther away. So I was in Annapolis Royal.
Oh shit!
And my husband was in Chester.
Not the best.
So not that close.
No.
So we did have to, and I had accepted the job while we were dating. So it was kind of like, I've accepted this job. This is my way in. This is my kickstart to my career.
Yeah.
And I have to take it. But I was so broken up about it because I was like, well, I don't want this really great thing that just started to end.
How long had you been together at that point?
We started dating in like the end of August, and this was the end of October.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, well, this has been good, but what's going to happen now? So, but we made it work. I think pretty much every weekend I was either in Chester or he was in Annapolis Royal, or he would come home to the Windsor area and I would be home in Kentville. So I'd go to his parents or he'd come to my parents for dinner and we'd hang out and that kind of thing. So there was a lot of back and forth for a year. And then the next year, we decided that we didn't want to do the commute anymore and we were going to move in together. So we rented a house in the Windsor area, and I was still in the Valley, so I was in the Kentville area, and he was still in Chester, but the drive was a little shorter from Windsor to Chester. So,
right.
So he was doing that, and I was meeting him at home for a year, and during that year, so we moved in together in like July or August, and we got engaged in November. Then we got an apartment in Kentville, and so we lived there for 2 years, and now we bought a house. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Big question.
Yes.
Proposal. What?
Proposal.
I don't know the proposal story.
Oh
God.
I get little stars in my eyes. I knew it was coming. I guess like we had talked about it a little bit.
I always wonder. I'm like, these bitches know.
Yeah, like we talked about the concept of it.
Okay.
But I didn't know specifically when. Like I just knew that we wanted to be together long term and that marriage was both something we wanted.
And you knew that he wanted to get married?
Yeah.
That's good. When did you? That's a big question to ask.
It was. And it was something that I asked fairly early on.
Good.
Because, I didn't want to end up being like, I am definitely a marriage house baby person.
Right.
And
marriage house baby. I love that.
So
that sums it up.
Yeah. Marriage house and baby. There she is, Sally. No, but I wanted to know. I wanted to make sure because, it's important that you both want the same thing and you don't want to feel like you're just like, he doesn't want to now, but maybe if I blink my eyes and smile a lot, he'll love me and want to get married. But no.
Hey, man. Yeah.
He was down for that. So, so the proposal, I was home after school and I was making supper, or I think I was actually making dessert because I had a hankering for chocolate. So I was making lava cakes, I think. And I was just like in like my school clothes. We weren't on some romantic dinner or anything like that. And Andrew came home from school, and he said, it was just like we were just catching up, and I didn't even turn. I was still like cooking and doing my thing. And our dog Max he loves tricks. You've seen his pictures. Like he's got like sunglasses on and hats, and I dress him up. He had fairy wings on for Halloween. He lets me do it. I don't know why. He's crazy, but So he balances things. Like, he's a balancer, treats and that kind of thing. So I got the, Sally, look at Max. And I turned around and Max was sitting on his bum with my engagement ring on his nose, like just between his eyes. He was just sitting there like a little gentleman with the engagement ring.
Oh my God.
So Andrew was down on one knee and also holding Max to ensure that the ring was not going to get eaten, because
I was
he
just
has
going to say that'd be my big fear.
Well, yeah, because he hits the treat on his nose, and eventually it's like, okay, and he can flip it and he'll eat it. But we didn't want that to happen with the ring. So it was, just, it wasn't a big spiel. It was, will you marry me? Oh, and Max too. And so, of course, but it took me a minute to like associate. Like, it was like, the dog has a ring on his face. Why is this happening? And then I kind of put it all together, because you're taken aback. You're like, what's that sparkly thing on your face? Why do you have that? And then I was like,
oh
so,
my gosh.
Yeah. So then it was kind of we had like the brief, like, oh, of course, you like hug and kiss and like jump around the kitchen. But then immediately I was like, can I call my mom? So it was like, and then I think we both spent the night on the phone with family, like, and then we had actually the other thing that was kind of funny. So I had a hunch that maybe it was coming. We bought a sparkling wine from a local winery, and I was like, oh, we could buy this and put it away, because it was one of those ones that you could just like put away and it's fine. So I was like, oh, we'll put it away and we'll take it out when we want to celebrate something. And Andrew was just like, oh, we should just put it in the fridge, because if we're going to celebrate something, we want it to be cold.
Yeah, that's a dead giveaway.
So then, like,
yeah,
it was in my fridge for like 2 weeks, but it got opened. So yeah, it was pretty special. So
that is the cutest thing ever. Any proposal that involves pets or dogs, is instantly better than any other proposal. That's just what it is.
I happen to agree, but I'm biased.
I have a listener and a friend who also had a proposal with her dog involved, and it's
puppies. Puppies win.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Adorable. Did you have the house together when he proposed, or were you in the apartment?
We were renting a house.
Renting. Okay.
Yeah, we were renting a house when he proposed.
So then the wedding.
Yes. So
gorgeous and storybook fairy tale.
Thank you. Yes, we got married. We got married Thanksgiving weekend, October 8th, 2016, I guess. So it was 2 years this fall.
2 years, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So we got married in Wolfville. It was fall. I got all the colors out, and yeah, it was a good day. We had, it wasn't a giant wedding.
It's good though.
Yeah, it was good, because you didn't feel like it was like, oh, who's that? It was all people that we knew. It was all mutual friends, and it was just like, yeah, there was no like, oh, and this is my Aunt Helen from
that I haven't seen in 15
somewhere
years.
far away. Yeah.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Just
so
the
it
idea
was
of
kind
inviting
of like,
the people who really know you.
Yeah. So it happened a couple times. Like, it was like, oh, and them, and also them, because I love them, and I should have them, and they're friends with them, so they should come too. And then it was like, you know what? It'll be so much better if it's just like the ones that are involved in your life and involved in our story.
Yes.
So it was an easier decision then. It was like, let's be realistic.
That's exactly it.
And then it was great. Yeah.
Were you a bridezilla?
I was not.
I can totally tell that you would have been just the chillest bride.
Yeah. I was very casual.
That's fantastic.
I knew when I wanted to have the wedding. If we were going to get married. And I think even no matter what, I was kind of looking at Thanksgiving, because we have a break, and and it's fall. Fall in the Valley is
I love
every
fall.
story.
Oh yes,
it's so
that's
lovely.
Right, the valley.
The valley. Oh, the valley.
Most beautiful. If you're not from Canada, it's just this like gorgeous countryside area, and the leaves, I can imagine, are
they're stunning, and it looked like It does look like a storybook. Every time I drive through Wolfville in the fall, I'm like, it's all a story, or it all looks like it should be on the front of like some farmhouse puzzle or something that you buy at Toys R Us for Christmas, and it's like 1,000 pieces.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And the pictures are gorgeous.
Thanks.
The dress was gorgeous.
I love them. Yeah, I was really happy with the day. And when we got engaged, it was like we got engaged on a Friday, and I booked my wedding venue on Wednesday.
Did you really?
I did.
I love it. Okay, like, I know that some people might roll their eyes.
Yeah.
But, like, whatever. I have a bit of a dark heart and stuff. But, like, when it comes to weddings, I'm like, I would be the same. Listen, this is just me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of long engagements. I feel like if you're being proposed to and you're taking that step, why the fuck wait 2 years? A year is a good amount of time.
I can accept it, but I think if you're gonna get engaged, shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the pot.
Get
that.
married.
And especially if you're someone who knew, if I ever get married, I want to get married here.
Yeah.
Get that venue
So
in, because it's gonna be booked like probably a year anyway.
Exactly. So I knew where I wanted it. I emailed them. I said, "Is it available October 8th?" They said, "Yep, but there's another couple that's looking at that date. So if you want it, I will hold it for you until Wednesday, and you can come look at it to confirm and also give me money."
That's wild.
And so I was like, "Yep, book it." And then I went with my mom, and we looked, and we were like, "Yep, this is what we want." So then I had my date, and then I set up with the chapel, and everything got set up for that date. So then I was like, okay, here's the day I'm getting married, and everything else will fall into place. As things come, you make the menu. I guess I went to get I knew that it took a long time for the dress, and it was like to pick the dress.
One.
So I went dress shopping in December and got my dress. So then I had that. I was like, okay, I got the dress, I got the man, I got the venue. Again, the food will come. So then it was food and flowers later on, and we got that all established, and then it was just like, let's just wait for the wedding.
Wild.
And my wedding day, it was chill. I got up, we went to Cora's and had breakfast, and
Amazing.
then we got our hair done, and I was like just hanging out. I wore like jean shirt.
Oh, that's so exciting.
We had some sandwiches. I think I sang a lot of Backstreet Boys, and then I just hung out. I just hung out in the house and bopped around. I was cool, calm, and collected. And then it was like my photographer and friend, who's fantastic. She's like, "Okay, Sally, it's time to put on your dress." Put on my dress. Had an epic meltdown.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a meltdown of like, I'm so stressed. It was like, this is really happening. I don't really know what to do.
Eh?
Yeah. So I got the dress on, and then I saw my dad, and then I was like sort of more emotional because my dad's very like stoic, and he wasn't. I don't think he was that emotional, but I was like, ah.
Oh.
But the funniest part about this day, and most people will be embarrassed about this, but I spent the whole day wearing my Vans sneakers, and I had sweaty, stinky feet, and I didn't wash my feet. And my sister put my heels on, and she was like, only Sally would get married with stinky feet.
Oh my God, it's funny.
So I was a beautiful, majestic, wonderful Thanksgiving bride with smelly old toes.
In heels.
Yep.
Oh man. What about like the actual walking down the aisle part? Did you get emotional then?
No, my friends told me I walked too fast.
Okay.
I was just like,
this is
trying to get there,
hitting
I guess.
hard to me because, okay, friends, if you're listening, I've been part of many weddings and I get shit for this every fucking time. The most recent wedding I was in, I did great. My friend Mary's wedding, I was told that I walked at the perfect pace. But my friend Karen and Neve's wedding, which was down south in Mexico, they were like, you literally ran. You ran down the aisle, or the sand, I guess.
Yeah.
Sand. And they make fun of me for it. But I'm just a fast walker. It's fucking hard for me to walk fucking slow, especially when you're so excited to see your friends get married.
Well, that's just it. Like I think the hard part for me though was like I had someone like hired a guy to sing songs. So I had this song in mind, and he was singing it, and he was like, when are you gonna come down, and this is how you're gonna walk, and this. But like by the time I got there and I saw everybody, and my sister and Sharon were already up at the front of the chapel, and Andrew was down there, and that's what I came for. So I was like, come on, Dad. Like we just kind of like hunkered along. I smiled like a little show pony, and I I thought that I as I was going down, like I would like look at people, but I didn't. I was just like, Andrew, going to marry Andrew.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so
I always wondered that too. Like, it must be awkward because like everyone's looking at you and you kind of want to do the whole like smile and wave, like Kate Middleton, like, hi everyone,
I am the queen.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you're there to get married.
Yep. So
you're seeing your future groom at the end of the aisle.
So I kind of had blinders on, and I got down there, and then we got married, and the ceremony was pretty quick. And I guess my mom was. It's the funny things like that you hear about after. Like my mom was freaking out because she thought the rings were still at our house. She's like, "We don't have the rings, because the photographer took the rings to give to our groomsmen." And she's like, "I don't have the rings. I never saw the rings." My dad's like, "The photographer took the rings. Don't worry about it." So I guess my mom was like in the first row, like, "There's no rings. They're not getting married. There's no rings today." So then they were there, so it was fine. But it was those kinds of little funny things. And my dad has an old Corvette that him and I took to the wedding, and my mom and the girls followed in her CRV. So we took the Corvette, and it was a busy time in Wolfville, and there was traffic everywhere. So we were going, and we got to downtown Wolfville, and because the car is old and it was idling for so long, the car shut off.
Oh no!
In the traffic.
Oh
and I was like not very far away from the chapel, but it was like enough to like I'm not gonna walk. So, and we were supposed to get married at like 4, and I think it was like 3:57 or something, and the car stops. So I'm like, okay, all right, this is fine, because guess what? Nothing can happen without me. So they're going to have to wait.
They're waiting on you.
So my dad, but it was cute because my dad gets out like in a suit, in his little boutonniere, and he goes and he's like jumping the car. So we get it started, but it was also, kind of a spectacle, because here you got the guy in the suit getting up to jump the car. You got little bride in the window shaking her bouquet, and little kids are cocking their head to look at me. So I felt pretty like a celebrity in
That's hilarious.
Wolfville. So I mean, we got there. It was a bit of an adventure to get there, and thank God my mom didn't follow us all the way, because she would have had a freak out. Like,
how late were you?
Oh, just a couple minutes.
Good. I mean, they never start on
maybe
time
like
anyway. That's
5
the rule
minutes.
of weddings.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyone will tell you they never start on time.
Yeah, actually, I don't know who this is. It's like a family friend of my husband's family, but they're talking about a wedding where the bride was a bridezilla, and the wedding was supposed to start at 4, and she told everybody to come at 2. But she said, like, on the invitation, wedding starts at 2, but it didn't start until 4.
That's I can understand a half hour.
Hour.
I get that. I get the half hour buffer.
2 hours, unless you have games, drinks, and like a spectacle, maybe like a seal who sings the alphabet or something. Then it would be fine. But
because friends do that with me, actually, because they know I'm going to be late. So like they'll be like, let's start drinking at 7.
Yeah.
And then like I'll write in the chat like, I'm not gonna be right till 8, and he's like, that's why I suggested 7. Just like, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm always late. I'll be late to my own funeral, guaranteed.
There.
Guaranteed. That's so cute though.
Yeah.
That's it's so cool to like being part of someone's wedding.
Yeah.
And like the energy is just, it's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
It is wild. Yep.
Craziness.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And it's very, like, it's kind of surreal. Like, you're like, oh. But like I was, the person that was obsessed with like say yes to the dress, but now I've done it. So now I like that kind of like the show doesn't appeal to me anymore. It's
very
like,
true.
It's like, oh, look, she picked the mermaid cut and the whatever. And now I'm like, it's like say yes to the dress marathon, where usually I'd be like, ooh, cancel all your plans. But now I'm like, nah.
Did you have trouble picking a dress?
No.
It
was the second dress I put on.
Oh wow, second one. Wow, you got lucky.
Yeah. Well, the first dress I put on was what I thought I wanted.
Right.
And I put it on and I was like, no.
Yeah. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, how about this one? So I tried that on and I got up on the little pedestal and cried.
Oh, that's the kind. Yeah.
And I was like, yep, it's this one. It's fine. And they're like, well, we have several other dresses to try on. And I was like, okay, I guess. So I kept putting them on and coming out, and I was like, I had like slunky shoulders, and I was like, picking at the boob cups, and I was like, nope, not this one. So I put another one on that was nice, and it was similar to my dress, but it was like a heavy satin. And my mom was like, oh, you're so beautiful. And I was like, I hate it.
Oh, wow. I was just going to say, who was in the room?
Just my mom.
Just your mom?
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, because that must be a whole other thing. Like, your friends, like having your friends there might be tricky because
you have so many, there's so many opinions that I was like, even like, I feel a little bit bad, like that I didn't have my sister. My sister was in school, in university, doing classes, and she's kind of like, what, you're going without me? I was like, I just want to be able to pick it for myself. And if, like, and I want mom to be like, well, that's absolutely terrible. Or actually, she helped pay for the dress a little bit, so she had some say financially as well. But I just kind of wanted to pick my own without all the extra stuff.
That's very confident of you.
Yeah,
I feel like I would just be like, I want 1,000 opinions on that.
Yeah. So we got past the dress that my mom liked, and then I put it on again, and she was like, yeah, you're right, because it was, I think the other one was just because it was so like heavy satin. I think it was a little more matronly, and I think that's probably why she liked it, because it was very modest, and it was very, which my dress was really the fanciest part was the back of my dress.
There was some lace though, wasn't there?
There was,
yeah,
yes, it was all very lacy.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so yeah, that was fun, and it was right around Christmas, so we finished the dress, and then this woman that owns the store was like, oh, and now that you've picked out your dress, here's like 7 butter tarts and like a pecan log and like some chocolate. Oh yeah, we sat down, we had a feast.
Wow.
It was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty much like, oh, here's your dress, and also here is all the Christmas dessert for lunch.
Ooh.
Have a lovely day now.
God, that must be so fun.
It was fun.
Oh, damn. Yeah. So I want to get into you do work with kids.
I do.
Specifically, what ages?
I'm looking at like the grade 7 and 8 range, so they're like 12, right? Maybe leading into 13.
So you're doing some cool stuff, though.
Yeah,
you work with
I work with youth. Yes, young people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
forming their minds and shaping them,
and guiding them,
guiding them into the world.
Like the fine leader that I am, yes.
But also like on the confidence side,
yes,
body image, stuff like that.
Yep. So a couple of years ago, I took a yoga teacher program. So I'm a 200-hour certified yoga instructor. And then now I've been taking a program that is geared towards really like female empowerment and positive body image, positive body self-talk for young girls, because as we start to see with social media and, you know, everything being hypersexualized, that girls are struggling. Our girls are struggling, and they're growing up too fast. Yeah. So I'm in a program right now that's focused on building girls up and teaching them how to be mindful and how to take care of their bodies, and that they're the most important, and that everything else is kind of secondary, and the expectations that we put on ourselves as women is tough.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm gonna give that a big old dang. Because I was telling you before this that I've been wanting to get somebody on who does this, because I want to know what's going on in schools, particularly in that age group, because that's a very pivotal time in any girl's life, is that age, you know, puberty age. Maybe it's like maybe a little bit post-puberty, but you know that when your body's changing, and also the idea of like, you're on the fucking internet. Like, you're on social media.
Yep.
Like I'm friggin' 31 and I'm getting bullied on social. Like I'm getting emails calling me ugly, and like how the hell are they dealing with it?
Right.
And what are the tools that they are being given to deal with it? Because it's so much.
It is. Yep.
We're so much.
We're bombarded, and I think the biggest thing that we're trying to teach them is that, you know, what we put on social media is out there, and it, you know, it goes out into cyberspace, and even, you know, if we delete it, it's still, you know, it's traceable somehow. And
Right.
you know, that we have to be valuing ourselves and being selective as to who we share ourselves with.
Yep. That's huge.
And the other thing is that we want girls to be accepting of their bodies no matter what. And I shouldn't just say girls. I should say anyone that identifies as female.
Yes.
Because that's, you know, that's a whole thing that's happening too. So I think the idea is that we're trying to teach people that, you know, you need to be confident in your own skin, and you are perfect the way you are, and, you know, it shouldn't matter what other people say or think about you.
Right.
And it's just kind of like women need each other to support each other and teach each other. And I think something that was said today that I thought was really, really important, and I'm trying to think exactly how it was said, but essentially it was that we as women spend so much time trying to be better than other women. Like, we're trying to get ahead of someone, and we harp on and we get sour about other women's success. And the idea is that there's enough success in this world for every female to be successful and see success. And just because someone has success doesn't mean you're less successful. And how to pursue that. So you might be amazing at piano, and maybe I'm amazing at drawing. Right. And it's okay to be confident about that. So if you say, well, Sally, I'm amazing at piano, I'm not going to say, oh, you show off. You shouldn't talk about that. It's okay to be confident. Yeah. You should be happy about that. There's a difference between confident and arrogant.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, instead of us saying like, oh, well, she's doing this and it's, you know, so great for her, but not great for me. It should be like, you go, girl, you do your thing, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to be successful eventually, or, you know, when I figure this out. So sometimes it's about learning about ourselves and caring for ourselves and accepting the process of how things happen. Like, not everybody's going to have the same things happen at the same time. Yeah. And that's not going to be the right thing for anybody either. So it's like, we have to teach girls that it's okay to, and it's okay to be down. Like, it's okay to be upset about something. It's okay to, if you have mental illness, or you have, you know, if you struggle with those things, it's okay. Like, there's support, and you're allowed to have that support. You're allowed to have those feelings, and you're allowed to take time for yourself. I love that. And, you know, the focus is around mindfulness and taking time, and, you know, there's a lot of breathing because I'm a yogi, and it's like stretching and all that stuff too that goes hand in hand with it. But it's all about building your confidence and being okay with yourself and seeking more of a sisterhood with women as opposed to like
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it starts off with like little things of like, well, that girl's popular. Why is she popular? Yeah. Oh, well, she's blonde and skinny and got big boobs. I don't. What's wrong with me? Like, that's where it starts. Yeah. And that starts young.
It does.
So I'm glad to hear that there is stuff going on in junior highs and, you know, that age group. Instilling these things in girls young, because Jesus Christ, if you don't, like, it gets worse. Yeah. It gets worse.
It does. And, you know, I wish that we had this kind of thing when we grew up.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. And, you know, the other thing is, like, even now, like, our perspectives are different than our parents' perspectives of what women should do and how women should act, and what, you know, family dynamics look like, or what, you know, what a woman looks like. You know, like, we've gone from, like, you know, they tend to the children, and now we're going towards like career women who raise children and like rock life. But it's at this point, everybody has a choice. So it's what you want to do and what makes you feel good, as opposed to like what society expects you to do as a woman.
Yes.
And the other thing is that we were saying that the women that are successful, we look at for being, they're finding success by being more masculine, and that, so like we slap on a pantsuit and like go to work and push papers and rise to the top, or we want to be taken seriously, so we do something that's more masculine, or we hide that, you know, femininity aspect of ourselves that says like, you know, I'm soft and sweet and girly, but don't push me around because I have a job to do and I'm here to do it. So the idea is that we can still be feminine and powerful.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I'm into right now.
Because one of the things I really don't like is when you see strong-willed women who are kind of like, okay, I'm just trying to use an example. Like if someone wants to be an entrepreneur and start a business or something, and say you want to start a makeup business or a beauty business, you know, that is a more feminine area. But like you can still be a boss-ass bitch and go do that.
Hell yeah.
And succeed.
Yep.
And you can do it by wearing whatever you want. You don't have to wear a pantsuit. Like,
God, no.
Like, so there's this idea of like to be more aggressive or to be more, yeah, I guess aggressive would be the right word, that you need to look like a guy or like wear pants, like, and it's just like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
It is.
And, you know, maybe you want to do that.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, that's cool.
Exactly.
But like girl like me, I ain't gonna wear a pantsuit.
That's right.
I'm gonna put a dress on and maybe put a blazer over it.
Yep.
Or something.
Exactly.
But like
no
one should be ashamed about what they want.
I want to put on a squirrel onesie and rock the world. Like whatever. I mean, some days
exactly.
you just
and it's
really
like
want a
this
onesie.
attitude of like, if you are more girly or feminine, like I wear makeup, I dress up a lot.
Yep.
People kind of talk to you like, you know, you don't have to do that. And I'm like, I want to do that.
I do it for me.
I do it for me. Yeah, like it's not about you at all.
Yeah.
You don't know how many eyeshadows I have on my eyes.
No.
Oh yeah, I do. So it's just this weird attitude. So I think we have to kind of shift our thinking, and you're right, like be more supportive, be more empowering to women of various varieties.
Yeah.
Various varieties of women.
Exactly.
No matter what you're doing.
Yep.
Support it. And even if you are doing something that's in the same field, like I follow a lot of female podcasters because I'm like, I want to fucking pump you up and I want to support you, and like I know how hard it is, and like seeing you succeed is only actually going to give me fuel to also succeed.
Right.
And it's not a competing thing.
No. It's
actually just seeing good role models, which is also huge. The idea of good role models for women.
Yeah.
And using that as a positive thing rather than, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Oh, well, she's doing that and I'm not doing that, so maybe that's why I'm not succeeding.
Yeah.
You know, and then it goes even deeper. It goes into like, oh, well, so-and-so has a husband and I'm not like that, so maybe I need to be more like her to get a husband. Like, there's so many ways in which it's just body image stuff is just a whole other beast.
To other people. And
it's
we can't
endless
because it's exhausting and it's not going to help us.
And so I think it's so important to do it young.
Yep.
On the sex education side of things, I'm very curious as to what's being done there. Because I know for me, when I was in that age group, you know, grade 7, 8, it was very much so focused on biology. Like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is how you have to deal with it. And that was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing about the emotions you go through when you are that age. Holy fuck.
Yep.
The shift that you have physiologically at that age is massive.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I don't know if it's that intense for men, but
yeah.
I'm curious as to what is going on there now, especially with like consent and all that.
Yeah.
If that's actually being taught
in
schools. That's good to know.
So the focus right now, from what I know, is that the focus, I mean, of course we can't leave out like, you're going to get your period and here's how it works. Here's how a baby is made. Do you still have
cheesy videos that you show?
Cheesy, yes, but it's not like there's not like specific videos. It's more like, let's go on YouTube and find something that's appropriate, entertaining, and probably too young, but it's fine because we're gonna learn something and we'll probably have a laugh, and there might be a kitschy little tune at the end.
There you go.
know?
Yeah.
So it is physical, and it's still very physical. But there is more about consent and about the way, like, we talk about how, a woman dresses, and just because she, dresses scantily clad, that's not permission to go for her. She's not looking for something. That's not that's something that we talk about. We talk about how, we cover all of the different, varieties of sexuality and sexual interest and all that. We talk about family dynamics. We talk about, from all walks of life we cover. And there's no, like, this is better than that. This is, there's nothing like that. Everything is open.
Good.
And then there's a lot focused around protection and health and, sexually transmitted diseases and or infections. So we talk about those kinds of things, and all the resources that are available. We talk about, Planned Parenthood and options for our young girls and young families and those kinds of things. So we cover all of those things. I've had questions around like Plan B, like emergency contraceptives. So those are not out of the question. We talk about those too, so that everybody has options. Because
one thing I think people need to remember, because I think you said it, like, kids are growing up faster. So they're probably sexually active a lot younger than what we were.
Yeah.
I did not have sex until grade 12.
We had conversations about this today, like that we were hearing of girls as young as the 6th grade.
Oh my God.
Doing the rainbow party.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't want to get into that too much, but we are, there are situations where our girls are doing things way too young. So it's really jarring to know that, we've got girls that are so young and involved in things that they're, not mature enough to engage in.
That's wild. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
And it's like, it sucks because it's like
upsetting. It makes you want to cry.
We can't stop it, but what we can do is educate.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing to realize. We can't control what goes on at parties. And
exactly. That's
the
who
one
these
thing
people
that
hang out with.
But as long as you're giving them the resources to know, like...
Yeah. And it's not like you can go as much as you want, and you're like, the only number one way to be safe is abstinence. But it's not like we're like, be abstinent. Like, it's like,
you're just giving the facts.
Here are the
You're
facts.
Right,
Here's the information. You need to make the decision, but you need to make the decision that is right for you, and you have to, think about all the things that are involved and protect yourself and protect others and all those things. So we talk about relationships, we talk about all those kinds of things, and the importance of consent. There's all kinds of information about that, and we do talk about that. The other thing that I've done in my experience is we just continually have that question box, and we've done it where we've split the girls, we've split the boys, we've done it all together.
Oh, you did it all together too,
and we've done it all together.
Good.
So I think the biggest eye-opener for me was when we did it separately.
Yeah.
The boys were very concerned about like physiological things, like about their bodies and their parts and all how it works and
what's going to happen.
Kind of exactly.
Da, da, da. Yeah.
And the questions that the girls asked were much more in depth.
Right.
Some of it, I think they might have just wanted to see me squirm a little.
No way. Really? Were these sex questions or period questions?
Sex questions. But so some of them, like I read all of the questions. I said, I'm going to read them all, but I'm not going to answer them all. So I had things like, are you on the pill?
asking you about
when
you.
was the first time you had sex? Why does sex feel good? Like, so it was these, it was hard to answer some of these things because it was like, this isn't about me.
Right.
This is about you. This is
Right.
about education. It's not about find out who your facilitator loves or whatever. It's got nothing to do with that. So
interesting.
yeah,
That's
so
fascinating.
and like what's the best flavored condom? And it was like all these things.
Yeah,
it
that's
was like
kind of
these are just things like, but they're just throwing them. Where the boys were kind of sweet and like just considerate, like, and wanted to know things about girls and how their bodies worked. But the girls it was more aggressive. It was like,
wow.
it was very strange. And then when it was like a combined thing, like I did it with a 5-6 class, and I've done it with 7s and 8s, and it was, when it's combined, it is more like, they might ask like, oh, what's like masturbation? Talk about that. Like, so it's stuff like that.
Right.
And that is something that we can talk about, but it's still those kinds of things. It's not like
personal to you.
Yeah, it
Personal
wasn't
at
things
you.
like, I'm not answering that. Well, what was the question? What was the question? It's like, it's personal. It has nothing to do with.
See, it's interesting to me hearing that, because it makes me wonder if these girls maybe don't have other older females in their lives that they can talk to.
And I think it makes them so uncomfortable that they try and overcompensate by asking these kinds of questions to like get a rise out of them, and to see like how much can we find out with, but it's kind of like they want the information dumped upon them,
right,
and they can sift through it as they see fit. And it's not just like they want to listen to like, someone that's older than them talk about like, and then you go to the store and you buy your stuff, you buy protection, you buy, your pads and your tampons, and you hear all the things that are available. And they're like, no, tell us about
the first time you
fellatio. And you're like,
oh my God,
no.
Well, it's such a tricky line, because these things are happening.
Yeah.
And so on some level, I think we do need to, but the question does come down to what age do we talk about this with? Maybe this area is too young, but I do think going into high school, there should be talks about this, because listen, kids have access to porn.
Yep.
And that's the scary part about all this. Men are going to watch porn, and they're going to see what guys do to women in porn, and they're going to think that's okay to do. Women are going to watch porn and think, oh, well, this is what's going to happen to me when I have sex.
Right.
And it's not okay.
No.
Like, we got to teach people sexual like agency here.
Yeah.
And teach women that like it is about you, and like, even though it does get personal, but it's like, yeah, your pleasure matters.
Yeah.
As a female, your pleasure is important.
Yeah.
And you need to fight for your pleasure.
It would be great if we could teach young people, and I think this is the goal, is that you have to have those, you should be having those conversations with your partner. What do you expect? What am I hoping to get out of this? What is my expectation about what is going to happen here? And instead of having those courageous conversations, we're seeing it more like, unfortunately, it's not a bonding. It's not like when two people come together because they have a mutual interest in each other, and it's, affectionate and it's wonderful and special. It's more of like it's a transaction. It's a popularity stunt. It's and that's not to say that all of it is, but you worry about girls who want to be accepted and do these things, and then all of a sudden a mockery is made of them, and then it's a big thing, and unfortunately that's so possible nowadays, and it's so terrifying.
That's scary.
Yeah,
because they'll do it because they think that's how they need to be accepted by men,
right?
And then men will use that against them to like either bully them or shame them, or
and
it's just so scary.
If our young boys are watching pornography, then they're going to think that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's not what it's supposed to be. And we don't want our girls to fall victim to some of those things, and we don't want girls to have the expectation that they're supposed to look like a porn star either.
And I mean, I think, like, I mean, and again, it comes back to, like, we can't control them.
No.
Like, I think, like, there should be something in the education talking about, like, okay, guys, porn exists. You're going to probably watch it at some point. But almost educate them, like, these are very specific videos that are made for, you know, like, I don't want to say entertainment.
Yeah.
But this is not the reality. This doesn't have to be the reality of sex.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's just so scary to me.
Yeah. Because we've taken it from a natural human thing.
Yeah.
Into this, like,
brutal,
yeah,
like it's very male driven
for it. It's just like it's become something so much more than it should be.
Right.
It's like dramatic and theatrical and ridiculous.
Yeah. And not good for women.
No.
For the most part.
No.
And it's hard to tell. I mean, like, you know, okay. When you're older, you know, maybe you consent to these things, but that's when you're older. Like, I truly feel like...
And you can filter out what you choose to believe and accept and enjoy versus what you're bombarded with.
Oh, my God, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's just...
It's crazy.
It's a crazy... But, I mean, you're doing good stuff.
Trying.
Do you find what about the mental illness side of things? That's a whole other area.
It is. We're not into it a whole lot, but we're into the idea that you know, we've got so much more, you know, anorexia and depression and you know, various forms of anxiety, and we're trying to give tools to that. And because of the perspective that I'm taking, it's a very like yogic, like mindful approach of like, you know, stretching and breathing and being with yourself on, you know, a mat or in a quiet space and being able to, you know, process through those things or to do the self-care thing and, you know, talk to someone and have therapy or talk to friends or be, you know, for our young girls, be involved in a girls group because we're going to try and get those up and running in our communities as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just talking to a friend who's involved in this program with me about getting a women's group because I said there's work that I need to do for myself that, you know, from past relationships or expectations that I put on myself that are unrealistic, and those flare up sometimes. And I'm at a point now where I can acknowledge those things, but it does sometimes affect the way I look at situations. And I've accepted the fact that there have been things in my past that have jarred me or affected me that I try and keep out of my relationship now, but there's things that you attach from past partners that are traumatic or whatever, and we have to practice that positive self-talk and look for our own time to talk to other people, whether it's friend or whether it's a therapist or whether it's a mentor or
oh my God, mentorship is huge.
Exactly. And the other things that we can do for ourselves, like, you know, if anyone who's working and, you know, if you have Blue Cross, like Blue Cross is wonderful. You know, book that massage, get an acupuncture appointment, talk to a therapist. Like, those are things you don't have to have a struggle. You don't have to say like, oh, you know, I've got such tension in my jaw that I think it's anxiety. But you just be like, I need a massage because I friggin' love myself and I need to go do something.
Yes.
Like, you don't need an ailment to look after yourself.
And you don't need a crazy trauma either.
Look after yourself because those kinds of things are what prevent illness too.
Yeah, that's very true.
All that stuff that you do for yourself, like, we get tired and we don't realize it, and
it's so
look
hard.
after yourself. It's good.
We gotta instill this stuff in people young because I'm 31. I still struggle with it.
Yep.
I still am just like, I'm doing a lot of stuff and I'm not taking moments to just like take care of myself.
Yep. It was like the other day, and I mean, I am better, and I feel it is because of all this stuff that I've been doing, because it gets you in that mind frame, and it gets you talking to like-minded people that are going through some of the same stuff. But this week, like I do exercises class through the week, and on Tuesday I was supposed to go, and I wasn't feeling it, and our poor little doggy had a bone, and it went right through him, and he made a mess all in my house, everywhere, before my husband got home, and I was trying to clean the house, and it was like so smelly and gross. Ugh. And I couldn't just leave it. I had to, go and get the Pine Sol and my squeegee brush and start cleaning floors, and then he's like, well, you gotta go to Zumba. It's Zumba time. I was like, I freaking love Zumba, but I'm not going tonight. And it was kind of like, well, don't make excuses for yourself. Like, you can go and I'll take care of, what needs to be done in the house. And I'm like, no, listen, I'm stressed out at work. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. The dog made a mess all over the floor. The house is not clean. We were away all weekend. I need a minute. I'm stressed out. I don't know what to do. And I'm not going, and you can't tell me to go, and this is how I am. And it was like, and if I keep fighting with you, I'm going to cry, and that's not fun.
Oh, no.
And he's just sitting on the couch very quietly, and he's like, what can I do to help you? And I was like, empty the dishwasher and hug me.
Yeah.
Because that's sometimes all you need. It's just like, you got to put up boundaries. It doesn't, you just have to say, no, I can't do that today. I know I'm supposed to. I know I have a commitment where I paid for a class, and you know what? I can't go. I got to do other things. My focus is elsewhere, and I'm not going to enjoy myself if I go do something else. But otherwise, through the week, I love Zumba. It's like my outlet, like Zumba and yoga. And that's the other thing I learned, because I was like, I could run, or I don't want to do exercise I hate. So I'm like, okay, yoga is great. Zumba is great. So I'm stretching and I'm dancing, and I feel like I'm not exercising, but I am.
There you go.
But I'm also compulsively snacking, so it's counteractive. But that's self-care. That's eat a bag of popcorn and then go dance to Despacito, and then lay down, go to bed.
I think that there's a thing with women. I don't want to gender it, but
no,
I've noticed it in particularly with women. If something comes up, and say they're really busy, and they need to say no to it, they almost over defend it, as if they owe that person a thesis on why they can't do that thing. And it's like, I think we gotta start just being a little more can't do it, sorry, too busy.
Yeah.
Need to have an hour of time for myself.
Absolutely.
In the day. We need to stop feeling ashamed about that.
Yeah.
We can still be people who juggle a lot, people who are getting involved in a lot of different things and giving ourselves, and Jesus Christ, even just maintaining a fucking apartment or house. I was telling Sally today, I'm like, my place is a mess. I've been depressed. It's and then you mentioned, you're like, I have a house. There's multiple rooms
of stuff.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
We all deal with so much, so we shouldn't be ashamed about either not doing something that we normally do, or taking a night off. Yeah, taking a night off from stuff.
Yeah. Today,
God damn, it's important.
Today somebody said, don't say yes to something if you're saying no to yourself. I
love that.
We commit so many things. I had someone at work say to me one day, oh, Sally, we've got an event tonight, and we need another person to help cover it, or we're gonna have to cancel. And I had a yoga class that I was looking forward to, the night of this event, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then I'm hitting cancel, reschedule to my event, to my yoga class, and I was like, I've looked forward to that yoga class all week, but I saw they were in a pickle, so I put them ahead of myself.
Right.
But in the long run, that's going to bite me in the butt, because I need to be at the top of the list. Yeah. But we forget that. We think
we totally forget that.
And I'm someone that takes care of everybody else first. So I'm like, are you okay? You're happy? You know, check in with my family, check in with my husband, check in with the house, make sure things are going well, that all the work is done. And then,
then you're like, what about
then I'm
Sally?
exhausted. And then it comes to the weekend and I'm like, part of the couch. It's like, what do you want to do this weekend? And I'll be like, just this. And
Nothing else.
it's not just this. It's like, I am decompressing, but to anybody else, it looks like Sally hasn't showered in 2 days and she's eating popcorn off her belly. Like,
You do. This has been my life for the past couple weeks. Cause I've been dealing with the seasonal depression.
Yeah.
And like today I slept until 1:30 and I felt so bad about it, but I'm like, this is just what my body needs right now.
Yep.
Like obviously my body needed sleep for whatever reason. Maybe it is depression. Who knows? But it's like, you're right. From the outside, those things can look, oh, like she's lazy or like she's wasting the day away. But it's just like, we're all trying our best.
it's like,
you know what I mean? Like
you
we're
don't
all-
see
we're all
that
trying
my
our
whole,
best.
the little mouse in my brain is like just starting to like slow down on her wheel. And she's like, oh, I gotta grease this for the rest of the week. Like you gotta decompress, or there's so much that goes on behind the like, I did my hair today and I put on my lipstick and I'm out the door. It's like, but also I am crying
I
on
know.
the inside.
Oh man, it's. I always say it. I'm like, I don't feel like I was ever this stressed out in my 20s. Like I don't know what it is about this age.
Yeah.
Everyone is really busy. Everyone is overworked. Everyone is bombarded. Like it's just everyone's trying to maintain all these things. I think it's just maybe the age of like, you know, people have families, people have kids, partners, like they're juggling so much. And it's just like, I think the other thing we have to stop doing is being like comparing busyness.
Yep.
Cause it's like, I'm a single person without a partner or kids, but like I got all this shit going on. And if I'm complaining, I'm using quotes, like, or if I'm talking about how busy I am that day and I'm talking to like someone with kids and they're like, oh, well, like imagine doing all that and then having kids on top of it. And it's just like, we got to stop kind of phrasing it that way.
Like, my busier is busier than your busy.
It's like you're busy. Your busy might be way more intense because you're dealing with a human that you have to raise, but like you also have a partner helping you. So like you're a team raising this human.
Yep.
Whereas like I'm running around with groceries on foot because I don't have a car and that's taking up more time. And it's just like, I don't know. Everyone's lives are so different and we need to stop judging.
Yep.
And just relate to each other more.
Exactly.
You know? And like support each other more.
Yep.
Rather than like comparing.
Exactly.
Stop comparing yourself to other people.
Yep.
All genders.
All. Everybody.
Everybody. Everyone is awesome. And everyone's trying their best.
Yeah. Just trying to live our life.
We're just trying to live.
Oh
my.
One foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other.
One day at a time. All those things.
I want to thank you for coming on. I'm going to wrap it up because I know you have an early morning. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy weekend to
it's fun.
Come over and chit chat.
Chit chat.
And now that the Intoxicated Cherry is popped, maybe you'll come back on.
Yes.
Maybe with Carrie or somebody else, or we'll figure something out. But Sally, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for the wonderful work you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
I just gotta say, like, it's you're making a difference, whether or not you know it.
Try your best.
Try your best.
Everybody try your best.
That should be that's the takeaway, really. Yeah. We're all trying our best. I love it. So you can end the episode with a bell ring.
Ooh,
Give it a good one.
Excited.
Ring the bell. Feels good, right?
Does feel good.
All right.
Hey, Lily. Oh, hey, Krista. Did you know, according to an unproven internet meme, you will cross paths with a murderer 36 times in your lifetime?
I did know that, and you want to know why?
I can guess.
Because we're 36 Times, a Canadian true crime and comedy podcast, which covers crimes in the Great White North.
Every episode, we focus on a major crime, and then we lighten things up with a kooky one.
We cover everything from major cases and unsolved mysteries to peculiar getaway choices and animals behaving oddly.
So catch our bi-weekly episodes on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts.